Hello and welcome back to the Jet Press Podcast. My name is Justin Fried. That's Mike Luciano.
I can't even. I'm sorry. I broke immediately.
No, it's the Jets broke. The Jets broke us. And we're back. We're breaking down the Jets 30-10 loss to the Buffalo Bills in a game that honestly was not as close as the final score would even indicate.
Like 300-10.
There's I feel like there's going to be two different discussion points we have, which is the emotional fan perspective of this and if we're going to be bold, maybe we'll have an analytical take about what to do moving forward and what the hell happened between week 1 and week 2 to get two different versions of this Jets team. But you got anything to add before because I want to start with the emotional fan perspective because I'm sick of this shit, man. I'm sick of this. I don't know if you want anything to add or you want me to go on my tirade.
Before we get into all that, though, thank you for joining us on the Jet Press Podcast. You know where to find us: Apple, Google, Spotify, Overcast, wherever you get your podcasts. We are there. And then you can also subscribe on YouTube. That's big. Liking the stream. That's really big. Help us support the show, make more good content, all that good stuff.
Oh, my God, dude. Brandon Aubrey just hit a 64-yard field goal to tie the game in Dallas.
Dude.
That is – well, I want to play – I know we just played a game.
I want to play in games. I know we did that literally a week ago.
Just a week ago, but why can't we do that 2 weeks in a row? Come on, man. Why can't
I wish I knew. I wish I knew.
You know what it is, Mike, and this thought crossed my mind all week, and it crossed my mind when we were talking on Wednesday, and we were talking about this upcoming game and saying, logic would dictate going into this game. The Jets have the blueprint to at least stand in there against the Bills, right? We just saw this Buffalo Bills defense get their asses whooped against by the Ravens rushing attack. We just saw them get run all over. Now they're without Ed Oliver, who is, their best front seven player, at least definitely their best defensive lineman, who had an awesome week 1, was the only thing keeping that run defense together in week 1, and it really wasn't kept together. And we went into this game being like, look, the Jets just showed what they could do against the Steelers. They showed that they can run down your throats, that they can control time possession, and if they're going to win this game, that's what they're going to have to do. Logic would indicate that the Jets at least had a chance in this game. But logic doesn't apply to the New York Jets. We've known this for years. Anybody who's followed this team knows that logic does not apply to the New York Jets organization. And despite
we did a whole show a week ago talking about what the Jets do well, what they didn't do well. Literally everything was reversed.
Yep.
From week 1.
Doesn't make any sense.
I'll start off really quick, though, with I want to get to, because this is, I think, I want to take some of the rancor out of it because I'm really mad. George Carlin had an old bit where he was talking about it was a bunch of different jokes about like driving around in cars, and he talked about the different license plates. And he said New Hampshire will say live free or die, and Idaho says famous potatoes. He goes, between there, the truth lies. And that's what I think with the Jets. Because we have seen in 2 weeks them hang 30. I know the Steelers lost today to the Seahawks, but there was a lot of special teams goofing around.
Caleb Johnson, bro. Caleb Johnson. What are we doing?
Caleb Johnson. There was a lot of that going in there. They hung 30 on against a team that nobody expected them to hang 30 on.
Nope.
If they played like that, they beat probably 70% of the teams in the league on any given week. It was masterful. And Justin, did they have a good play? Forget a good play in this game.
Justin Fields ran for like 30 yards one time, and then
on drive they kicked the field goal.
Like, and then they folded. Breece Hall had a 12-yard rush. That was fun.
So the truth is somewhere in the middle with this team. Obviously, they're not. I hope they don't play like this every week.
Nope.
And I don't think that they're going to go and score 32 points every week against good defense. And Justin Fields is going to be PFF's number 1 quarterback like he was in week 1. It's somewhere in the middle. I get that, but. Man, did the bottom ever fall out in this thing? I mean, Justin Fields, 3 completed passes. It takes away our ability to analyze it. He went 3 of 11. Justin Fields a week ago made 3 of the 5 best throws I've ever seen him make in a game. And now he can't complete a pass. If I'm willing to be incredibly optimistic and give them the incredible benefit of the doubt, which they
don't deserve it. You don't have to do that. They don't deserve it.
Well, here's the thing, because again, this isn't a referendum on Aaron Glenn or anything like that. This team just stinks. But what I'm gonna say is every team every year, no matter how good you are, like the best teams in the league will lose 3, 4, 5 games. There's always one game where it's basically a mulligan and nothing goes right, no matter how good you are. The Lions last year, Goff threw 5 picks in a game. That Commanders game with the Eagles, just things don't go right. Sometimes it happens. I'm willing to say, all right, this was the game. Almost get it out of your system. It can't get worse than this. That's the optimistic take, but my goodness, they have nothing to build on. They have nothing to build on. Couldn't stop the run. Josh Allen, that's the one thing I'll give them credit for. Josh Allen did not have a particularly good game.
He didn't have to. He didn't have to do it. He did what he needed to do. Like, I think if Josh Allen wanted to do more, he would have.
Josh Allen stat line, and you said this is what you're going to get at Josh Allen, I would have thought the Jets would have won that game. Wow, again, because Allen, for some reason, at MetLife is not Josh Allen what he normally is.
Yeah.
And then other than that, nothing. Secondary slipping all over themselves. No pass rush. They ran for over 200 yards. Both linebackers were horrid today. I don't know what got into Sherwood this year.
Sherwood's had a really tough start to the season.
He can't do anything right.
Yeah.
Steve Wilks, I thought that was the safer hire of the two coordinators. I'm really starting to question that because he looks like he's not adjusting anything week to week. Couldn't run the ball. Couldn't complete passes. There's nothing to build on. There's nothing to really take apart here other than just saying, man, the Jets suck. There's nothing to really add here. Well, it's Aaron. Like, did Aaron Glenn not yell at Braden McGregor enough so he can make good plays? Did he not? Like, this game was so bad. And again, like, obviously it's on the coach. And I don't want to sound like a Glenn supporter here, but the monsoon of shit we just saw, when it's that powerful, like a coach can only do so much in the moment. The moment. Obviously, he didn't have his team ready to go week one, but when everything's going wrong at once and all the holes are breaching and you're sinking, I don't think there was. If you could put any coach in the league into that scenario right now, well, when the Jets were down already and you knew very early on this was going to be one of those games, and I don't know who's leading a comeback in that game. This was just a nightmare from start to finish. Everybody bears some blame, and this is just how you divvy it up. I guess just burn the tape and go on to Tampa Bay because there is nothing positive from this game.
Mitch Trubisky had more passing yards than Justin Fields, and he completed one pass. And
he came in for one play, and
he completed one pass
on sauce. I'm like, okay, he
completed one pass, which was actually only a third of the passes that Justin Fields completed because Fields completed 3 passes. We can get into Fields in a bit, but let me go on my emotional fan tirade for a moment. I'll take you back to, I believe it was week 3.
I'll just mute the mic and let you cook here, Mr. Fried.
I believe it was week 3 of last year when I came on this podcast, Mike. And do you remember what I said? That Patriots game? Do you remember what I said?
Oh, yeah.
I said, same old Jets is dead. Those were my words. I said them. I've regretted them every day since. And,
your fault, man. It's really your fault.
It is my fault. I don't blame you for blaming me. We went into this year thinking, okay, look, new regime, new coaching staff, new vibe. Week 1 had us thinking that too. Week 1 had, all the optimism. I thought that the coaching staff had as flawless of a debut as you can have. Obviously, they lost the game, and I don't think the defense looked particularly great, but the offensive coaching staff was fantastic. And I thought Aaron Glenn did enough to make me think, okay, look, maybe things have changed here. And even, I'll say this, even when the Jets continuously shot themselves in the foot early in this game, I was like, you know what? I'll give them, I don't want to say the benefit of the doubt, but I'll give them a chance. I'll be like, look, this team under Robert Saleh, this team under Adam Gase, this team under Todd Bowles, this team under every coach that I've pretty much lived through in my life since Rex Ryan, they would fold here. They would completely fall apart. They would, as you said, it'd be a monsoon of shit would sweep through MetLife Stadium and just completely take over the game. But I'm like, let's give them a chance here. And I said it, I think it was even going to the half. I'm like, look, they got to stop. They come out in the second half. They score, at least make this respectable. I'd given up on the thought of winning because the Jets, as we said, going into this week, just from an analytical standpoint, if they were going to win, they had to control time possession and win the turnover battle. They didn't do either of those things at all throughout the game, but especially early on in the game, that blueprint was already thrown out the window. But you at least can make it respectable. You can at least make it not humiliating. You can at least not get completely decimated by a division rival on not a nationally televised game, but CBS's standalone 1 p.m. game. This was their top CBS game. They got the top CBS announce crew for this game. You can at least be respectable. Instead, we got Elijah Moore doing backflips. We got a game that really should have ended in 30-3. We got a game where a starting quarterback for the New York Jets completed three
and he got hurt.
And they also lost like 4 other defensive players due to injury. This was as embarrassing of a showing as you could have expected. And that to me is it's very concerning. Like, I don't want to be the reactionary type that said, oh, hey, look, they're winning 9 games after week 1 and now they're winning 2 games after week 2. But man, these were the games that you hoped would be gone. Like, you expect to lose to the Bills. The Bills are a better team than the Jets. They should beat the Jets. You don't expect 30-10, and again, that's a generous stat line. It's really 30-3 is what I am thinking in my mind of what the final score.
This game ended midway through the third.
But that's just what this team does, Mike, because what this team historically done is the second they get even an ounce of expectations,
they didn't even win, and they had some momentum.
Semblance of expectations, right? The Jets went into week 1. We were playing with house money. We're like, let's see what they got, right? It's against the Steelers, but Justin Fields probably going to look bad. The offense going to have some growing pains. We had low expectations for the offense. What did they do? Justin Fields had maybe the best game of his NFL career. The offense looked awesome. Had its best week 1 performance in years. Going into week 2, it's like, okay, hey, let's build upon that. I know we lost, but there's expectations here. There is an expectation that at least the Jets will be competitive, that you're not going to get completely embarrassed and blown out by your division rival again. And the second that we get those expectations, Mike, it's been proven time and time again, they're going to let us down. That's what this Jets team does. That's the emotional fan perspective. We can talk analytics. We can talk about the actual breakdown of the game, but that's where my brain goes to emotionally with this team, is that the second you give them even a sliver of expectations, they completely fold. And I was hoping that would be different under Aaron Glenn, and maybe it will be. We're 2 games into his regime, but this was a disaster. And
what if the order was flipped? What if week 1 this happened and week 2 the Steelers happened?
A lot better, because at least it's like, all right, we're week 1. They got their dog shit game out of the way, and then they showed progress going into week 2. Now, I obviously, again, when we're getting to week 12, who knows? This game might not matter. Maybe the Jets bounce back and they look all right, but we can only base it off of what we've seen through 2 games. And I was really hoping performances like this were gone. I was really hoping performances where the Jets start off slow, they make a couple of mistakes. You have the Clemens penalty, you have the Fields fumble, and it's like, all right, things are snowballing a little bit. Let's stop the bleeding. Let's right the ship. No, it just continued to snowball. And I thought, and I don't want to say I thought, but I really hoped that those games were gone.
I mean, game number 2 for Aaron Glenn. I mean, you don't want to. He's not supposed to have all the answers, I think, by game 2.
No, and I'm not saying that. Like, again, this is not a referendum on his entire coaching career. It'd be very silly to do that after 2 games. But look, a complete and utter humiliation at the hands of a division rival is tough, man. And I was really hoping that we wouldn't get those this year, right? I expected the Jets to lose a lot of football games. They're not talented enough, but we talked about the Jets needing to outperform expectations because of coaching. And they did that in week 1. The offensive coaching staff punched way above their weight class. And in week 2, we didn't get that. I don't think that was necessarily a fault of the offensive coaching staff. I think a lot of it was a fault of the quarterback play, which was abysmal, which we can get into in a moment. We went from what might have been the best game of Justin Fields' NFL career to, you could argue this was worse, and I'm not sure I would disagree. This was a pitiful performance from Justin Fields. But even the defense, man, they got pushed around. I have way more concerns about the defense going into this year than I did starting the season. And I wasn't like expecting a top 10 or even top 12 unit. I don't think they have the depth or the personnel to do that. They have talented players, but there's some clear weak spots that really tank this unit. Obviously, Brandon Stevens, although he wasn't bad in this game, cornerback 2.
Again, that's the reverse. He was okay.
The safeties are a
defensive
problem.
line didn't do anything.
The Jets' defensive line depth is really, really bad, but I expected more from the linebackers. I expected more from Jamie and Sherwood. I expected more from, in this game, Will McDonald, I thought was awful. He was invisible and he was getting pushed.
I barely even see. I don't think they called his name once.
Invisible as a pass rusher, getting shoved around in the run game. Preliminary PFF grading had him at a 42.4 PFF grade, 24.2 tackling grade.
Generous.
Preliminary grades for Will McDonald, but abysmal performance, especially. I believe he was going against Spencer Brown, who is not exactly. Spencer Brown's good, but not exactly all pro.
That's what he was leaning. If he got his hands on him, that was it. He was done.
This Jets D line was getting pummeled and bullied throughout this entire game, and I thought the O line didn't particularly have a great game either, especially after last week's performance. At least in the run game, I thought pass protection wise they held up. As Austrian Jets fan, gives 10 memberships. Thank you, buddy. We always appreciate the support. It is a rough game. And if you
want to spend any sort of monetary investment on the Jets, I think it's better used helping us make more good content than supporting the product on the field at this point. Don't buy a jersey. Spend that money on Jet Press membership.
We're all soaking here together. Much appreciated. That at least makes a few people's days better. Definitely made my day better. So
before we get on to Fields, though, here's the thing I had, and look, Michael Clemens sucks. We all know that
he sucks. And guess what, Mike? He is still their best backup defensive end.
That's the thing.
And if Jermaine Johnson misses time, Jermaine Johnson misses time, he is starting. And you know why he's their best backup defensive end? Because they did fuck all in the offseason to address that, except for drafting Tyler Barron,
who stinks,
who looked like maybe the worst defensive end on the roster in the preseason, and was a healthy scratch this week.
Who would have been cut if he wasn't a 5th round pick.
It would have been cut if they had even a remotely NFL caliber depth. They didn't even come close.
And that's the thing. That's where I sympathize for Glenn in this situation, because I saw a bunch of tweets, so much for accountability, when Clemens went back up there. I'm like, they don't have anybody else.
Yeah.
Not only do they not have anybody, like they barely have anybody that are, excuse me, got tongue-tied there a little bit. They barely have enough bodies physically on the roster that can replace him. And the guys that are there are Braden McGregor and Tyler Barron. They're not going to solve the problem. You have to.
Is the solution Eric Watts, who's on the practice squad? Probably not. He was their lowest rated defensive lineman.
Look, you're my dude, and I get it, but Connor Long came at me with Kingsley Jonathan. I'm like, dude, that's not gonna...
He's not even on the practice squad. He's a free agent.
Yeah.
He's a free agent.
That's the thing.
Yeah. I mean, they
just don't have enough guys. They have stars at certain positions.
Yep.
I thought Membu didn't have a great game, but I thought the sack that led to the fumble, Bosa got by him, but that's not, I would say, a loss by Membu. Fields held the ball for 8 seconds. Sauce is still pretty much Sauce.
Mm-hmm.
Brees didn't really get much of a chance to show what he could do because the game went out of control so quick. But from week one, it was very encouraging. This team isn't bereft of talent here, but the holes are so bad. Number one, where they're weak, they're so bad. And they just don't have the infrastructure to really change anything right now. They can't change their whole defensive philosophy. They can't do a hockey shift and take the entire starters out and put a new batch in. They can't do that.
Yeah.
They can't bench Fields. That doesn't help anybody. So you just got to hope it works itself out.
And you're not going to bench Fields after the week one performance he had.
No, of course
Obviously,
not.
You're not going to do that.
He's not going to complete 3 passes every week, but he's not going to be week one every week. The truth is in the middle somewhere, and I know that that's not a satisfying answer after this week, but you just got to kind of sit through it. And I get that the problem is that you feel helpless because of that, because there's nothing that can really impact the situation, but they're kind of boxed in. And they'll be better in the future, I hope, if Aaron Glenn is good, but for this season, they gotta take their lumps a little bit.
Yeah. I'll push back a little and just say, I don't care what the talent gap is, you can't have games like this.
Fair,
you just can't have games like this. You cannot, especially given how frequently these games have occurred over the last few years. You cannot, if you want to change the culture, you want to talk about that change, be the change. Do not get blown. The bar is in fucking hell, Mike. Just don't get blown out by your division rival. Don't get humiliated 3 times a year, 4 times a year. That's the fucking bar. Can we clear that? Please. I'm not asking for 8, 9, 10 wins. Win 5 games, but at least be competitive in those 13 losses or those 12 losses. Be relatively competitive.
And I'm trying to mitigate it because they could beat Tampa next week, and then all of this goes out the window tone-wise.
Absolutely, for sure.
So I don't want to be too. And again, it is year one, but you can't have too many more of these.
Inconsistencies are expected with a team like this that is growing pains with a young coaching staff, a young roster, and a quarterback who, while he isn't young, plays like he's younger than he is. And we saw that today, if we want to jump into that Fields discussion soon.
Let's get into Fields, and then we'll go and get to your comments after that.
Yeah.
Tanner Engstrom, I find it funny, everybody now, fire Tanner Engstrom. Week one, he was probably the best I've seen in football.
This was classic, not the offensive coordinator's fault. This was quarterback. Quarterback is unplayable, and there's nothing we could do as an offense because our quarterback's unplayable. That's what.
Which is so weird because, all right, quarterbacks have bad games. Guys are volatile. Fields, for God's sakes, is one of the most volatile guys I've seen in years.
Really quick, 100% agree here from Mustard Overlord. I mean, if you lack defensive talent, maybe don't play cover 1 at every third down. Absolutely. I don't understand. I have not been a fan of this Steve Wilkes defensive approach, defensive scheme at all. They're playing a lot of cover 1 on third and long situations, a lot of very aggressive coverages, and they just clearly don't have either the personnel in the back end to do it, but they also don't have the personnel up front. They're not getting home with these. If they're playing cover 1, on 3rd and 10, you can't give the quarterback 6 seconds to throw the ball. He will torch you, especially if that player is Josh Allen. And unfortunately, Michael Clemens ain't getting home. Harrison Phillips ain't getting home. So unfortunately, now you're left with Tony Adams in man coverage and Andre Sisco in man coverage over the middle of the field. You're getting torched. They just don't have the personnel to be.
And they still held up wise in the passing game, all right. They just
enough.
Last week, Steelers couldn't run the ball if you paid them $1 million to. Can you get 3 yards on this carry? Nah, I can't do that. James Cook this week looks like I almost said another, but Thurman Thomas, the other Great Bills running back. That I think that's a little more.
Yeah.
appropriate for this show, but like they couldn't stop James Cook in this game.
I don't know what you're going to say. Now I'm confused. I missed that.
How many other great Bills running backs are there?
Oh, you could say his name. He was a great
I know,
back.
but I didn't want to.
He was a great running back. The juice. He did other
I didn't want
things
to
too.
default to him.
He did
But like, see, that's the thing with Fields is, like, I don't know if they were giving him looks he didn't like, or if he was just off. Like, he was off the entire game.
It was mental. He got thrown off immediately because they had 3 and out in the first drive. His first ball was he had it. They ran a really good dagger concept on that. I think it was second down or third and down where Arian Smith stretches the field. He's got Wilson underneath in the intermediate route, and he just missed him. And from that play right there, it was very Zach Wilson-esque. Like, I don't want to say that, but this was very reminiscent of a Zach Wilson game where a couple of mistakes early on, snowball. And then if I'm going to criticize the Jets offensive coaching staff for anything, I think they got really scared when they saw Fields make a couple of mistakes early on.
20, they're running the ball.
They were very terrified, and they made it. I think it was very clear to Justin Fields how scared the Jets were to let him do anything. And when
they weren't scared last week, so what happened between then and now?
He looked like dog shit to start the game. And then when you're a quarterback,
so immediately they just gave up. They're like, all right, never mind, we can't throw the ball today.
If I'm going to criticize the Jets offensive coaching for anything, which it's also tough because they barely had the ball, so it's really hard to even get a game plan going when you don't have the ball. But what they probably could have done a better job of was trying at least to get him in a little bit of a rhythm. And I'm not saying they didn't do that, because there were a few short passes where Fields just straight up missed, where it was just a bad throw or the placement was off. Like, there were so many opportunities for this Jets offense to score points early in the game, and they couldn't do it because the quarterback was unplayable. But I think there was a way where they might have been able to get him to settle down a little bit earlier on. But the blame is on Justin Fields. Like, he had a terrible game. It was mentally, he was completely off early in the game, and there was the sack that he took.
I guess the thing is, there was no indication leading up to it that we were going to get something like this.
The indication is 4 years of Justin Fields tape. That's the indication. Like,
even to that, like, week to week.
Well, what Jets fans have just seen. This is good because we have a spectrum now, Mike. Jets fans have just seen basically the best you could possibly get from Justin Fields, you could reasonably expect to get, and basically the worst you could reasonably expect. So at this point, we have a spectrum to compare Justin Fields' performances. Best case scenario is Steelers. Worst case scenario is Bills week 2. Like, that is our spectrum. Any game he has from here on out will very likely fall in the middle of that spectrum. I can't foresee it being worse than this. I don't know if it's possible for a starting quarterback to be much worse than what Justin Fields did in this game.
He's scaring me. Again, he's better than this guy, but he has a Zach tendency where it's like you could tell immediately, like, okay, he doesn't have it today.
Yep. Yeah, no, we saw it very early on.
He's like a 3-point shooter in basketball where he misses his first 2. You're like, all right, he didn't have it today, which is not what you want for a franchise quarterback. And as much as we hyped him up last week, it's probably why he's not going to be the starting quarterback week 1 in 2026. But we'll see. At the pits of his Bears days, you very rarely saw games like this. You very rarely saw Steelers games, but you never saw him that bad either.
I think he's going to have to be very bad to not be the week 1 starting quarterback in 2026. I think he's going to have a very bad season. Like, I think if he shows I'm not saying they don't draft the quarterback. Like, they could still draft one and have him like sit behind Fields. Like Lenore Sellers' stock has fallen a little bit, but maybe they draft like a Lenore Sellers type, and now you can have two similar quarterbacks.
Pretty much every quarterback that was supposed to be in this loaded draft has struggled so far.
The other thing I was going to point out is I don't think this 2026 draft class, at least the quarterback class, is at a particularly strong start.
Nussmeier looks okay.
Outside of Nussmeier, Arch's stock is plummeting.
Fernando Mendoza looks pretty good.
Mendoza, yeah, I guess. Is he gonna be? He's gonna be a first round pick though.
That's the thing, probably not.
Right.
What's the dude from Arkansas? Was like 6'7".
Talon Green, right?
I want him as like a mid round.
Is he draft eligible?
I think he is. Yeah.
But you got
been in college for like 8 years.
Like John Mateer's stock is up, but also again, is Mateer gonna be a first round pick?
Too small. I'm getting Zach vibes with him.
By the time you never know. By the time we get to February, March, shit happens. But like the guys you thought would be taking that, like Klubnik stock is plummeting.
Oh my God, yeah.
Sellers, I don't think he's done himself.
Aller hasn't looked great.
Aller has not looked amazing either. Like Nussmeier's held steady, I think he's clearly QB1. But I don't think Jets fans should be looking at this 2026 draft class being like, oh, there's so many options here. Like, we're going to draft our quarterback. Fields isn't going to start next year. Like, I wouldn't bet on that. I would not bet on that right now.
Let's get to some comments. Vinicius, I hate myself for still caring. Okay, it's 2 games into the year. Like,
No, I understand.
We're not happy here. Like, we got to tone it down on the self-pity a little
I'm
bit.
not even gonna given what Jets fans have been through the last, decades, but even just the
It's
last
not even
years,
in the top 10.
Well, I was getting I will not fault fans for feeling that way. Like, this sucked. This was awful, dude. I hated watching every second of this. Positive, I was able to get my post game right up early on, up early before we even started streaming. Like, I was able to join right at the beginning. But
it reminds me of not to give some pub to the competition, but I remember SB Nation the year they were tanking for Trevor Lawrence.
Hey, SB Nation's cool.
They would post the recap like midway through the third quarter, like Jaguars lost again.
Right.
Like in the middle of the third quarter.
You could do that with some teams. You could have done that with the Jets this game.
Yeah,
I could have wrote
functionally.
I could have wrote my post-game fallout piece at halftime, and it would have been the same story.
So let's go with Brandon R again. 0 of 11 on third down and 54 passing yards.
Disgusting. That's absolutely.
Like, how do you do that? Guys complete 4 passes in a drive all the time. How do you get 3 3/4?
That is Tommy DeVito NFL offense. That is not an NFL offense in the year 2025. That's humiliating. And again, that's why this is more than just like, oh man, they had their stinker of a game. Like, no, this is fucking embarrassing.
When Arian Smith came in on that end around, every single person in the stadium knew they were running that end around.
Yeah.
Which is, again, that's I think he's okay, but when he's in the game, they're like, he's either going to run a go ball or an end around.
But the thing is, that still should have worked because they just missed a block. Benford was unblocked going to the backfield. They had 2 guys running past him. Nobody blocked him. I don't know whose fault it was, but it was a missed assignment.
Mustard Overlord. So I hear we didn't even need to think about drafting a quarterback next year.
Well, they definitely do.
I think because last week we were like, hey, don't be so.
Well,
he might end up earning, he might end up exceeding expectations. I think that was maybe what he's thinking.
My evaluation of Justin Fields as a Jets quarterback so far is like a C+ because we saw an awesome week 1 and a horrific week 2.
A+ week 1, F- week 2.
Yes, pretty much.
James Hutzler. I'm out of market, so I can only watch on Red Zone. Only saw positive Jets plays pull up like twice. Abysmal game.
I'm surprised it was even twice. What was the other one? I know it was the Fields run. What else even happened? The field goal? Probably the field goal.
I think he had a completion to Garrett Wilson where it was like 20 yards or something like that.
The Ruckert touchdown, they'll show it too.
Maybe, yeah.
Shout out Jeremy Ruckert, first career NFL touchdown. Good for him.
Rob Davila, Miami and New England can be beat. That's 4 games. The top tier teams are going to be hard with penalties and no run defense. They had run defense last week.
Yeah.
They didn't have it this week. That's the thing. Everything they had in week 1, they didn't have in week 2. And things they had in week 2, they didn't have in week 1. So what do they have? Is Brandon Stevens good or is he not? Can they stop the run or not? I don't know. Is Fields good or not? I don't know because we have 2 games. I know they lost both of them, but complete mirror images of each other.
That's what sucks about this team, man. Like, I feel like that's just a frequent occurrence with them is that how do you even cover a team like this where it's a different thing each week? Like there's no consistency, bro.
New coach, new everybody. It's not
right.
Like,
the only consistency we could say is Michael Clemens stinks, and guess what? He's still your best backup defensive end. And he's probably gonna be starting now if Jermaine's hurt.
Mustard Overlord, more proof there is no such thing as moral victories.
Kinda.
Yeah.
I mean, yes and no. Like, there were plenty of reasons to be encouraged about week 1, but those reasons quickly evaporate with a week 2 performance like this. Like, I wins and losses to me don't matter a ton this year because I'm not expecting them to go anywhere anyway. Obviously, when you're trying to contend, they matter, but this Jets team isn't winning the Super Bowl, so I don't really care if they lose a bunch of close games as long as they're close games. This was not a close game. This was humiliating and embarrassing, and you can't have that.
Brian Sternbeck, I'm less interested in accountability for the players who make mistakes and more interested in accountability for the decision makers who let those players on the roster.
So, I mean, the Gibson one was the brutal one week 1, where it was like, this guy clearly should not have been on the week 1 roster. Right now, I mean,
they admitted it and they got rid of him.
They did. Right now, it's like, I know people want Clemens gone. And look, if the Jets cut Michael Clemens tomorrow, are they a worse football team? No, not really. Is Eric Watts that much worse than Michael Clemens? No, not really. But I think he's still probably better. Like, I think Clemens is still probably better than Watts. They have no depth like that. You want to point, like, they fixed the defensive tackle room as much as they probably could with late, with patchwork,
Phillips and Briggs
trades. I thought Briggs had a really good game today. Phillips is fine. We know Phillips. He is what he is, right? But that DN room is stinky. It is.
Starters are good.
Are they? Like, yes. I know. Okay, I don't want to react. Yes, they're good. But like, if they're getting pushed around a run game like this, I'm going to look at Will McDonald because that is absolutely still a weakness in this game. What is
Apologies there. We got a Mad Max vehicle.
Oh, I thought that was your stomach. I'm like, are you hungry, Mike?
No, I'm hungry for a Jets win, and I didn't get it.
I think you're going to be starving this year then, Mike. I don't know. I don't know, man.
It's like I remember there'd always be a post whenever the Red Sox were doing bad. There's a restaurant called 99 up in New England. It's not very good. But they always say kids eat free when the Red Sox win. And the response always, these kids are starving.
Yeah. Some early PFF run defense grades, by the way. 48.
-2, what?
48.2 for Will McDonald, which feels generous. 38.6 for Braden McGregor. 43.2 for Leonard Taylor.
Clemens?
Clemens actually 62.5. Pass rush grade 45.2. Complete nothing there.
Well, I feel like everybody's going to be in the 40s for something this game.
Yeah, a lot of guys. Briggs had a really good game according to PFF. So did Harrison Phillips.
Mattered a lot in the scoreboard, I see. Brandon R. They'll play better next week with Tyrod starting, but the defense. Tyrod's not going to start next week.
Well,
if Fields is.
Yeah, if Fields. I think there's a.
Start.
I mean, I don't want to make any speculation here, but Justin Fields went to the blue tent and then went immediately to the locker room, and he was still being evaluated for concussion. That's not a good sign. And I think there's a very real chance he misses some time, which Tyrod and maybe
if they win that game, though, that's going to be. I'm not going to like the scores after that.
They might. Look, again, Justin Fields had an awesome week 1. You know, like if they win with Tyrod, it's going to suck, though. Like, it will really suck for Fields' psyche. I hope that he's able to bounce back mentally.
I just hope it's not like a Mike White thing where they look like this and then Tyrod comes in and rips it up. That would be.
Well, okay, if that happens, that'd be crazy. I think they're going to say, like, locker room turning on. Locker room they love Justin Fields. The locker room is not going to revolt and ask to put in Tyrod over Fields unless Fields is absolute garbage for weeks in a row.
Unless he's this multiple times.
If he's this like 2 more games this year, you bench him. Like literally,
week 4 they play Miami. That defense is horrible.
Yeah.
If he's bad in that game, then I don't know.
Dude, what a terrible game that might be. Jets Dolphins on primetime.
Primetime, Monday night.
Oh, dude, Jesus.
What mental giant thought that was a good game?
Oh boy.
Austrian Jet fan Dan Campbell in his first year went 3-13. Faith and patience, folks. Yes,
he did with
Aaron Glenn as his coordinator.
Yeah. I would love to look back.
He had Goff's better than Fields. And
how many that was 2021, was that Campbell's first year?
2021 was Dan Campbell's first year. Also Robert Saleh's first year.
How many of those games were total blowouts? I'm sure there were some blowouts in there, right?
He was in a lot of those games, I remember.
Let's see. Lost by 18 to the Packers. Lost by 23 to the Bengals. All right, lost by 38 to the Eagles. Lost by 28 to the Broncos. Lost by 8. Oh no, they beat the Cardinals by 18. Seahawks put 51 up on them, and they lost.
Now here's the problem, though,
is
when they got good, they kept Glenn. They also fired their offensive coordinator, Anthony Lynn, and put Ben Johnson in. They're not going to fire Tanner Engstrom. I think Engstrom.
No, I think the bigger issue right now is Steve Wilks.
Yeah, which is surprising because I thought Wilks was the safer of the hires.
Well, I look not to play retroactive, analysis here because I also love the Wilks hire. Has he been a DC for more than a year at a time? I'm pretty sure he's been fired like 3 different times as DC, like after 1 year.
He's a very Justin Fields like quality where he's never been like his last couple stops at least. San Francisco, he was good.
So San Fran, he got what? I don't know the whole story behind why he got fired by San Francisco. I know there was some kind of
Shanahan wanted him to basically play Saleh's scheme.
Yeah, there were some inconsistencies. Like I think the defense wasn't fully living up to its potential. But he got fired.
They got to the Super Bowl that year, though. So
they did. He got fired by 1 year, or after 1 year by San Francisco. He got fired after 1 year by Cleveland.
He's got this Fields quality where he's never like an amazing performer at his job, but everybody loves him, and he keeps getting more work.
The Cleveland one was more so they brought in Stefanski, and he was there under Kitchens. So that you can point to just difference in coaching staffs for probably why he wasn't retained there, but. The defense needs to be better. Like the defense through 2 weeks, I think has been very underwhelming. And I think a lot of it, the scheme has been, I've had questions about the scheme. I think they're running way too much cover 1.
Gianluca Nelson, when's the last time the Jets stopped a play action bootleg to the tight end? 2021. It's been years.
Do you know how many times I've seen a play action bootleg with Michael Clemens as the guy that's like stuck in the middle? I swear every time fucking defenses line up against this Jets team and they see Michael Clemens on the edge, they're like, how can we get this guy in space to exploit him?
And that is the game staffs now.
That's the game plan. And like maybe Eric Watts would be better because I think Eric Watts is at least a better athlete than Clemens. He's not a great athlete. He's also about the same size as Clemens, but I think he's a better athlete in open space than Clemens because You know what, Mike? You might be a better athlete in open space than Michael Clemens.
Robert Saleh 2-0 in San Francisco, under 16 points and less in both games, by the way.
Well, they played Spencer Rattler in the Saints today, so.
Rattler threw 3 touchdowns, actually.
I actually didn't watch, but I heard he looked good.
Kellen Moore is awesome. I think that's it. But yeah, Spencer Rattler has 3 touchdowns this week, and Justin Fields has 3 completed passes. Mustard Overlord. I'm in disbelief that Garrett Wilson wants to be on this team. The ratio of how often he gets open to how often he gets thrown a relatively catchable ball is crazy. It's what he's implying.
Shout out Garrett Wilson.
I'll tell you why. That's
money.
Why.
Yeah, I mean, well, they paid up, but also I think Fields coming in helped that. Like if they kept Rodgers, it doesn't matter what they're.
Does he like that? He could like Fields.
He does. But I think he man. Just shout out Garrett Wilson for staying in New York as long as he has. One day we'll get you a quarterback, man. I don't know when. Might be when you're 35 years old, but one day.
I've been hearing that my whole life. I haven't got it. You think Garrett Wilson's going to get it?
That's very true. Very true.
Brandon R. Justin Fields was under 30% completion. No play calling caused or can fix that.
No, this was Justin Fields just being horrific in this game. This dare I say, how many Zach Wilson games were worse than this one? Not many. None really immediately come. There were more like Zach Wilson.
The numbers were better, but that Patriots game where he got picked on his first 2 passes.
Yeah.
It was game 2 of 2021. Actually,
Fields' defense, he only turned it over once in this game. Although he probably should. He fumbled twice. He didn't even throw a pick, but I guess
never fumbled with the Steelers. By the way, 0 fumbles.
No, that can't be right. Is that true?
0 fumbles with the Steelers. Or 0 fumbles lost at least, but yeah.
I think he fumbled a few times with them.
I think you're wrong or maybe I read a stat that was wrong somewhere, but yeah, that was.
Am I wrong? I swear to God, he fumbled with them. Yeah, he's fumbled 6 times with them in 6 starts.
Okay, then what stat did I read on?
I don't know. You're wrong though. I don't.
He like it's not even close. Oh my God!
He only threw 1 pick. The fumbles were definitely still an issue in Pittsburgh. He only threw 1 pick, but the fumbles were there. He might have only lost 1 or something, or lost none, but he fumbled 6 times.
I'm looking at Zach's game logs, and like he never had like a 3 completed passes game, but I'm thinking in terms of impact, the 4 picks in game number 2 of year 1 of Robert Saleh, and I didn't let the defense down game.
Oh yeah,
9 of 22, 77 yards.
And you know what? Fields might have gotten to that level if they let him throw more. The Jets were terrified to let Justin Fields throw this ball.
But that's the thing. Like, all right, it's one thing if. It's one thing to say, all right, he doesn't really have it today. Don't really test the field, but like, you don't even attempt anything. Like, quarterbacks get in rhythm. You don't think Fields hitting that touchdown pass to Garrett Wilson? You don't think that helped him for the rest of the game get in rhythm and feel confident? You don't think maybe he lucks into a 30-yard play down the field, and then you at least look like something.
Yeah. No, I agree. You could have given him a few layups to try and get him going, but at a certain point,
I don't want to sound like one of those. This is one of my big complaints that fans I see a lot nowadays do. Mm-hmm. Throw the ball deep more. Like, teams don't throw the ball 30 yards down the field,
especially when your quarterback is already in a rut. Like that's not how you get him.
Yes, but I don't know. Maybe some 15-yard crossers. Maybe he hits one. I don't know. You're down by 20 points anyway. Maybe
they tried a few and he missed them.
Maybe look the next one.
When
you don't just give up throwing the ball.
At a certain point, it's on the quarterback. Like you can nitpick a few things.
Totally, yes,
a little bit, but like, man, this was Fields was like horrific, like horrible, unplayably bad in this game.
Like if this was Zach, I would have been calling to bench him.
Yeah, and if Fields does this 1 or 2 more times, like something like this, I'm also calling to bench him. I'm giving up. Like if he does this, like legit, if he does this 2 more times, even like something 80% of this, I'm done. Like I'm out at that point. Because again, as we said in week 1, it was like, okay, we saw the best version of Justin Fields, but we also saw things that, like the intermediate accuracy, the short and intermediate accuracy, I thought was so much better than his Steelers tape and even his Bears tape. The decision making was good. He avoided any kind of boneheaded mistakes. The mistakes that he made today, mistakes that he made today were issues that have plagued him his entire career. The ball placement was off from the start. He had 2 boneheaded fumbles. He was holding on to the ball too long, taking sacks or hits that he shouldn't have. This was Justin Fields like at his worst to a T. It's just like we said about Brandon Stevens in week 1. It's like, this is all the stuff that has derailed his career to this point, and we're now seeing it in New York. if he has another couple of games where it's the exact same stuff, where it's all the issues that have plagued him to this point that are on display, at that point, at a certain point, a player is just who they are, right? I'm not saying that yet. We've not reached that point yet, but I could see a scenario where we do in a few weeks if he is. I mean, who knows? He might miss time now with the concussion, but I could see us getting to that point sooner than later.
Why did the Jets quarterbacks always get hurt early?
I know, dude. It's a curse. This Jets team. I mean, Rodgers played
outside of Rodgers 2024, who was playing through injuries.
Yeah, Rodgers.
How many years in a row have they dealt with early season quarterback injuries?
I know. Fields has been banged up a lot throughout his career, so this is not. He takes a lot of hits. More than he should.
Mustard Overlord. How about that historic quarterback class, eh?
Yeah, well,
replacements aren't coming. It might.
I don't know if that's talking about 2021 or 2026. Like, it could be either.
I think
it could be 2021 too, where it's Fields and you're looking at that class. Like
Lawrence is the only good one, yeah.
And he's not even like great.
Yeah, I will say not to keep defending him, but like if you're like, oh, he's not generational, well, then that's your fault. Like, just watch him as a quarterback. Then he's fine.
He's good. Like, I think I've reached a point where I've given up on Trevor Lawrence ever being a top 6 quarterback in the NFL, probably at this stage. But I think I think he could still be top 10. We've seen him do it before. Like, I think that one year he was borderline top 10 quarterback.
Same with Caleb Williams. Oh, he's not generational. Well, that's your fault then. If you started believing that.
Yeah, I didn't see how did Caleb do well today. I didn't see it.
The Bears gave up 52 points. So
fun. All right. Well, that's not.
He threw 2 touchdowns, I think, but he also threw the worst interception I've ever seen.
I saw that pick. He still has a lot of that in his game. Like, that needs to be cleaned up.
Brian Sternbeck. Only 6 Jets head coaches have started their careers 0-2. Saleh, bad. Case, bad.
Oh, good.
Go tight, bad.
Oh boy.
Walt Michaels, good actually.
That's the only good one there.
Lou Holtz, bad. And now Glenn. So yeah, maybe he's like 1-5 success rate here.
Well, to be fair, how many successful Jets quarterbacks or Jets head coaches have there been? Like 5, 4 ever?
Weeb Eubank, Walt Michaels.
Yeah. Bill Parcells, Rex Ryan.
Parcells, yeah.
Rex. Bill Parcells, Rex Ryan, Walt Michaels. Did you say Walt Michaels?
Yeah.
Surely are we missing one? I mean,
Joe Walton was iffy, okay.
I guess. Yeah, it's this really Herm Edwards was fine.
Herm Edwards was okay.
He was all right. He wasn't bad. He wasn't a bad coach.
What a storied franchise.
Jesus, man.
Brian Sternbeck, Campbell, referring to the whole Dan Campbell was bad year 1, too. Although I will say, though, and I think Glenn will be okay, Dan Campbell was bad year 1 does sound like a lot of people with bad quarterbacks. Oh, Josh Allen was bad year 1, too, doesn't it?
Yeah, not everyone's Josh Allen.
Yeah, not everyone's Dan Campbell either.
The copium we have to sell ourselves, especially because there's a Lion connection.
Yeah, and as he said, Campbell fired Aubrey Pleasant as the defensive backs coach before their 2022 surge. So
what's Aubrey Pleasant doing now?
I think he's with the Rams.
Oh, yeah. He's their assistant head coach and pass game coordinator.
Oh, not bad, Aubrey Pleasant. So, because I remember he was being talked about for a while as like kind of a sneaky head coach candidate to watch.
Maybe the Jets fire Chris Harris. That's their current DB coach. Promote Dre Bryant.
That's not the Chris Harris I'm thinking of, right?
No, different Chris Harris. Also a former DB, though, in the NFL.
Huh.
Different Chris Harris.
Sharon McLean. Looks like we didn't even show up for this one. Next. Yep.
Nope. Michael Clemens speaking to Brian Costello after the game.
Why are they going to him after
Well, they asked him about the hit. He said, I did my best to hit him clean. I have to look
That's about as much as you're getting out of Michael Clemens.
He said more. I have to look at it and observe it, but they threw the flag at the end of the day. He was asked if Josh Allen gets those calls more than others. He goes, I'm not sure. So Kaz was sniffing for something there. He was trying to get him to say something.
I will say, this is totally not the point of this. Kind of a weak call.
He hit him late and high. Like, I think that's a flag. And also, Josh Allen is the best in the NFL. And I mean this in a derogatory way. He is by far the best at flopping and selling those hits. Like he gets calls that no other quarterback gets because he does this thing with his head where he just jerks his head back, even if he gets hit a little bit. And it fools the refs every single time. And he gets so many calls.
Jeff Caleb got benched. No, he didn't. They were down. They gave him 50 points. That's why they put him in.
Said Caleb got,
no, he didn't.
Brian
Sternbeck. The Jets are going to be winless in September again, likely.
Probably. When is that? Well, the Dolphins game's in September.
Week 4.
Is that not in September, the Dolphins game? I think it is.
September 30th, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's the end of September. I think
it's on the road. Miami at least look better this week. They
September
look like a real
29th.
team this week.
That's September 29th. If the Jets start 0-4, including a loss to the Dolphins, like I'll be pretty upset. That'll be a red. I mean, again, it depends how they lose these games, but like you need to win one of these upcoming games, and the Dolphins one is so winnable.
Mustard Overlord meant the generational class, about the 2021 class, but it could become relevant for both.
Could be.
Fields is still the second best of that class, which is the crazy thing.
Yeah. Well, who's third? Mac?
Yeah. Then Zach, and then Trey Lance.
Yeah.
Wow. Was there anybody else like after the first round that year?
Purdy was 2022. What other quarterbacks?
I think there was one other.
Kellen Mond, I believe, was in that class.
Oh, Kellen Mond.
Kyle Trask. Oh, Davis Mills. Low key, Davis Mills. Is he the third best?
No, he's the fourth best.
Who's third? Mac Jones?
Mac Jones better than Davis Mills.
I don't know. I think they're in a pretty similar tier. I don't know, man. I don't think
Sam Ellinger. Wow, this is just like a
Ian Book, fourth round. Holy crap!
Kyle Trask threw 28 passing yards as a second round.
Sam Ellinger, top 5 quarterback in this class.
Wow, this is the pits right here.
Possibly.
This is the pits. Let's get back to a couple more comments. Let's go with Brian Sternbeck. Al Groh started 2-0. Would have been a decent coach.
Yeah, well, so Al Groh was he was only there for
1 year. 9-7 first year.
1 year, that's right.
And then he went to Virginia because Virginia has more pull than the New York Jets.
Right. I forgot he went 9-7 in that year.
Yeah. Sharon McLean, Tampa Bay playing us on a short week, if that really matters. I think Tampa. There's nothing where the Jets at this point after this game can be like, oh, we have an advantage in this area because blah blah blah. They can't do that anymore.
Bills were playing the Jets, or I'm sorry, yeah, Bills were coming off an emotional, a very emotionally investing game in week 1 where they put all their energy into that comeback, and they had a short week coming up against the Dolphins to look ahead to. This was as obvious of a trap game as it gets, and when it's that obvious for the Jets, like I said in the beginning, the second you give them expectations, they fold.
I got Zach Rosenblatt's tweet that Brian Sternbeck mentioned. Justin Fields in week 1, 0.68 EPA per attempt, his best in 46 career starts.
This
Fields in week 2, negative 0.58, his worst in 46.
Yep. That's what I said at the beginning. I think we literally might have seen the best and the worst games of Justin Fields' entire career.
You can argue that this was, again, I don't think this is necessarily number 1 either way. This might be number 1 at the bottom. You could argue statistically and have backing for it. We saw the best game of Justin Fields' career and the worst game of Justin Fields' career. And your optimism with this team lies entirely based on which one you think he's closer to right now. Maybe I'm being foolish. I still think what we're going to get for the entirety of this year is slightly closer to week 1 than week 2.
Okay.
I think there's going to be more games where he has 2 touchdowns than games where he completes 5 passes. I think that's where we're going to be at.
Oh, Jadeveon Clowney just signed with the Cowboys?
He did?
What a weird time for him to sign.
Right after they won, too. What a
per owner, Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones telling reporters after the game that they're signing. That's such a Jerry thing. Riding the high of a huge victory to Giants. He's like, and we signed Jadeveon Clowney.
Oh, not Jadeveon Clowney. He could be as good as Micah Parsons.
I don't know. I don't know if I'm there with you on Fields, though. I mean, I agree that he'll probably have more 2 touchdown games and 5 completion games, I'd hope.
All right, let me rephrase it this way then, because we've mentioned this statement before, and I still think it'll be true.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think Fields throughout the entire year, if he doesn't get hurt or anything,
will
still be
too late for that, but
like hurt, long term,
Sure. I mean, you never know.
Will he still, you think, play good enough to warrant some sort of tough dialogue?
Yes.
In the offseason about the quarterback.
Yes, I do.
Okay, so that if he's a disaster, then you can just.
I think it'll be a tougher dialogue because I'm maintaining, and I saw Brian mention this in chat earlier. He said he thought the Jets were going to win 5 games going into the year, and now he's a little less certain about that. I still feel fine about my prediction of 6 wins. I think this is a 6-ish win team. They win 5, they win 6, they win 7. Maybe I'm leaning more 5 and 6 than 6 and 7 now, but I think it's still reasonable to expect they win 6 games. There's a lot of winnable games in the schedule. They might start 0-3, but I think after that it gets a lot easier. They're going to win some football games. I think I lean more on the side of Fields being not like this season, but us seeing more of the same of Justin Fields that we've seen throughout his career and not him being a significantly better quarterback, which in a class that I don't think is going to, I mean, again, it's too early to say, but I don't think there's going to be 3-4 quarterbacks in the top 10 at this stage right now, unless something changes. It's possible something could change. Desperation also matters. But I think the Jets are going to be picking round 9th or 10th, something like that. And I don't think they're going to be in a position where they have the luxury to just sit there and draft the quarterback. So I think that's going to be more where the discussion lies. Whereas if the Jets get like a top 2 pick, yeah, they're probably drafting a quarterback. I just don't think they're going to have that.
I'll say this on Aaron Glenn. I'll paraphrase a tweet that Kevin Clark had about Ben Johnson. I'll give him more than 2 games to reverse 30 years of Jets trauma.
Yes.
I'll give him more than 2 games to do that.
I agree. And again, we're not going to say this is the Dan Campbell thing is it's the Josh Allen rookie year thing, but we just went through Dan Campbell.
It kind of sounds like
it's not the exact same, but we just went through Dan Campbell's first season with the Lions, and he had like 5 blowouts in there, including one where it was like 40-something-3 against the Eagles. Like, shit happens, Obviously, shit can't keep happening. And if the Jets come out against the Bucs and they get blown out again, it's code red. Like it's approaching code red territory for me, where it's like you cannot have back-to-back blowouts in your first 2 of your first 3 games. You can't do that, especially riding the high of week 1.
Brandon R., if the Jets have to force a quarterback pick next year, that could renew the disaster. You want bad Justin Fields? Like, well, what else is out there?
Well, yeah, I mean, again, I will say this too, forcing a quarterback pick, some of the quarterbacks that have not been drafted in the top couple of picks have ended up being the best of those classes. Like,
because they went to teams with good stuff around.
Not always. I mean,
AJ McCarthy throws like a 9th grader. He looks okay because he's got a good team around him.
It's not always the case. Like, I think there's a chance Jackson Dart can end up being pretty good from this class. Obviously, it's super early, but that's not someone that people.
Just a sharp change up from Mr. Fake Offense when we were evaluating him for the Jets.
He had a good summer. We did
have a good summer. What is with the Mad Max cars?
Yeah, man, what the hell's going on?
We got Sturgis outside.
Mike is actually streaming live from Indianapolis Motor Speedway right now.
You know what we did have actually in Asbury Park, which is like a half hour away from where I am right now, or a little longer. They had the I forget the name of it, but there was some festival where they had a bunch of people going to it and a bunch of stages set up. Blink-182 was the headliner.
Oh, fun!
And what's that dude? Take Me to Church. Who's he?
Oh, Hosier.
Yeah, those were the 2 headliners.
You absolutely strike me as a Blink fan.
Nah, not really. They have like a couple good songs.
Like, because I know you're a metal guy, but like I feel like you'd still like Blink or.
Nah, like the problem I have with Blink is this is going really off topic. The problem I have with Blink is the problem I have with
Tony Romo and Jim Nance. I was
like,
Tony Romo and Jim Nance weren't even talking about the game at a certain point.
I love Rage Against the Machine, but the problem is they inspired so many crappy copycats, Limp Bizkit and all that. Blink kind of did that too, where there were people doing that like nasally garage rock.
Weezer? So are you gonna say Weezer?
Okay. Jimmy Eat World and stuff like that. Like, I don't know.
There's one. The only Jimmy Eat World song I know is The Middle. That's the only song I know.
So let's go and talk about Jets Bucs, which the point of previewing games is to take what we've learned and project forward. I can't project anything for this game because I have seen the Jets play 2 games, and in one of them, Justin Fields looked like the savior. And the next one, it was one of the 5 worst Jets quarterback games I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah.
And we've seen them in the span of a week of each other with no major injuries in between them.
And we don't even have like substantial Bucs tape because we've seen one. They haven't even played their second game.
Yeah.
Tomorrow.
We also saw one week they had 50 yards rushing allowed against the Steelers, and the next week they had 200 something. Mm-hmm. We've seen Brandon Stevens be the reason that they lost partially in week 1 and then kind of okay in week 2. We've seen the offensive line look like the best in the AFC in week 1 and then below average in week 2. Truly, genuinely, I don't know what to think.
I will say, by the way, before we get ahead of ourselves with Stevens, he allowed, at least PFF saying he allowed 3 catches on all 3 targets for 34 yards, had a 55.2 coverage grade, and that's the most catches allowed by a Jet this week. That was not Jamie and Sherwood.
3 for 34, not.
I mean, it's not abysmal, but he was their worst corner.
Sherwood, you really got to step things up.
Needs to be
better. He has been abysmal after that contract.
Also, man, bad start for Michael Carter.
Yes.
He needs to be out. I know he's dealing with that shoulder injury, but
yeah, that one good play on the Clemens knocked it away, and then I'm like,
another tough one. But again, I really do think the scheme is putting these corners in a tough spot. Like I think they're just playing way too much cover 1 on 3rd and long. I think they're putting their corners in a position to fail.
2 more comments I want to get to before we actually do Jets Bucs really quick. Mustard Overlord, my worry with the Dan Campbell comparison is 1, this roster has way more talent than that one other than quarterback. And 2, they played really hard.
I mean, in some of those games, they got destroyed, as we were just looking at the scores. Like, they played hard, yeah, but they got destroyed in some of those games. We're talking about this after 2 weeks, obviously. I just noticed my cat is sleeping in the background. Once again, the second official Jet Press cat, not the first. I don't know where he is. But yeah, in some of those games, they got absolutely destroyed. But so we'll see. I mean, if the Jets, we'll see in 4 or 5 weeks, we're having a different discussion with this Jets team. If they get blown out 2 more times within the next 4 or 5 weeks, then yeah, maybe this is a different discussion.
And then we got one more from Brandon R. My worry is that there usually is big roster turnover with a new regime, but this is still 95% Joe Douglas's team.
You'll see a lot more turnover after this year. Like, there's a lot of guys on 1-year deals right now. There's a lot of guys playing out the end of their contract. Like, I would not expect Michael Clemens, Tony Adams,
Cisco,
Alan Lazard. Like, these guys are not going to be on the right. Jeremy Ruckert's probably not on the team next year. Like, a lot of these guys are not on the roster next season.
Vera Tucker, unfortunately.
Vera Tucker might not be. Like, the big one, it's like, okay, Brandon Stevens. That was this regime's guy. I also think, by the way, I don't think Andre Sisco's been bad. I know Jets fans were ragging on him after week 1. I don't think he really was bad in week 1, and I thought he had I thought he had a good game in this. He was one of the few Jets players where I thought played well in this game. I don't think he's been a problem.
And I don't want to keep ragging on the guy. It sounds like, but I mean, you give this guy a big contract, sure would. How many plays have I seen him either get knocked down or misdirected, or there's an opening where he's supposed to be? Like, he might be, in terms of responsibility and all that, he might be, I think, the most at fault individually as a player for how this defense has looked. I was expecting, an improvement, and I've gotten a regression from him.
This is a fun trivia question here from Brian, our resident trivia expert in chat. So, trivia question: Jets have an all-time winning record against 6 active franchises. Can you name them? Well, I'm going to assume that
the Texans.
The Texans are. I'm pretty sure they are. I remember.
Well, because there's so few games.
Yes, Bucs. I'm pretty sure the Bucs are. I assume the Bucs because he's bringing this up.
Maybe the Jaguars too, because I'm thinking like the young teams, or haven't been years of the Jets losing against them.
So when we used to do these articles or like these pregame like informational posts where we'd put the win-loss record for the Jets against each team. I think the Cardinals was a team they had a winning record against as well.
Well, everybody's won it right there as your cat starts adventuring up the.
Hi, cutie. All right, there he goes. He's here's something outside. So I'm gonna say Cardinals, Bucs, Texans, maybe Jags. Probably no team that's been around for a long time. Probably the teams that have not been around for a long time.
That's what I'm thinking. Maybe the Titans too.
Now I gotta look this up.
I'll look it up first, and I'll judge your guesses.
You'll look it up, okay?
Okay.
I'm gonna assume it's no team that's been around. If it is a team that's been around for a long time, it's got to be an NFC team.
Cardinals, Texans.
Okay.
Bucs are 3.
Not Jags.
Not Jags.
Hey, so the 3 I said are right.
They're 8-9 against the Jags.
Okay.
So you have 3 teams left.
Are they NFC? Are they all
2
NFC?
of them are.
2 of them are NFC.
One is not.
Rams?
Nope.
Because the Rams are suck. The Rams suck.
Old school team.
Lions? No. Lions make sense?
Close.
So NFC North, Vikings?
That's 4.
Okay. 1 NFC and 1 AFC?
Packers, 5.
Oh, Packers? That's crazy.
9-5 in their career against the Packers.
I was not going to guess the Packers. That's wild. They have a winning record against the Packers.
It's typical. I think they were bad in the 80s for a very long time when the Jets were okay.
And then the AFC team, what division? Just give me a division.
North.
Browns.
Bengals.
Oh, that was my next guess if it wasn't the Browns.
The best record is against the Bucs, actually. They're 10-3 against Tampa Bay.
Whoa, look at that. They got history on their side. I mean, that makes sense. Bucs have been terrible for most of their history.
That's exactly why. With those, we got to stop this, by the way, as football fans. We got to stop gaslighting ourselves saying that those orange creamsicle uniforms are not the most embarrassing uniforms.
I like them.
When they had them, they got made fun of all the time. They call them the good humor bars.
It's a novelty thing.
It's not a novelty. It's stupid.
Actually, my hot jersey take, I think I've talked about this briefly on the show. I don't give a shit about jerseys or uniforms. I know there's so much discourse. People care so much about them. I have zero interest.
Put that on my tombstone. It's not a novelty. It's stupid.
So
it's like my life motto.
AP Associated Press is reporting Justin Fields may have a concussion. Well, that doesn't really tell us anything.
Well, yeah, he either has one or doesn't have one. Okay, there we go.
I may be dating Dua Lipa. Actually,
there's two outcomes. Either he has one or he doesn't have one.
Actually, I'm gonna shoot my shot, Mike. I'm going to see Dua Lipa live on Wednesday, by the way.
Really?
If there's any other Jets fans that are going to be at the Dua Lipa concert on Wednesday, let me know. I'm going to be there.
I think we're going to call time on that episode right here.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if there's any other updates about his concussion, but I don't think so.
I've had one. Boy, do they suck.
I bet. I luckily enough have never had.
I was like 11. I was trying to dunk on a fully like 10-foot rim. So I stacked up a bunch of lawn chairs and then I dunked and then my hands like slipped off the rim and then bam, right on the concrete.
Dude, you're lucky only a concussion is.
Oh my God, yeah.
Like you could have broke both your arms or something. Like that's terrible.
I tried to like barrel roll, but like it was like with Fields happen when your neck snaps back. That happened and bam. And
apparently Glenn said Fields was in protocol in the presser. I have never been diagnosed with a concussion, but I suspect I got one when I was a kid when I was playing touch football outside. I was playing full on tackle football in my neighborhood, and I like went to sack the quarterback, and this was like a big dude. It was big,
did you hit your knee or something?
Much bigger than me, and I like dragged him down with all of my might, and he landed.
Oh God!
Pause. Ass first, right on my head. just sat on my head. And that's
it's like you sat on a whoopee cushion. You just hear the air.
It was
out of Justin.
I was literally, my ears were ringing. I was like, where am I? Kept playing.
There was that, and then I almost had one. We were playing baseball for some reason with real bats in the yard on Mother's Day.
Fun.
Right before we were gonna go to Disney World, and I was a catcher at the time, so I'm catching. And my younger brother, sorry to put you on blast here, but he swings and he just like chucks the bat back and hung right in the side of the. I still have a scar from that right here.
That I feel like everyone who has a sibling has a story where they're like, yeah, my sibling gave me this.
That was my younger brother. Sorry to blow up the spot here, bro. But
that actually, really quick, I know we're over time, and if people don't care about this, whatever. I had a story related to that as well. Another time I might have got a concussion. I was like probably like 8, or I was probably like 9 years old, going to this summer camp, and we were playing mini golf. And for some reason, the kid in front of me, even at this mini golf course, decided to take the putter and take a full backswing. And he nailed me right in the head, and I got literally knocked unconscious. And the next thing I remember was waking up in like the nurse's arm in the nurse's office, being like, "What happened? Where am I?" And I had
that'll explain your Javon Baker takes.
hey! That was a low blow. That was unnecessary. That was completely unnecessary.
I thought Devin Leary was a 5th-round prospect. So
yeah, there you go. That's because of the scar. That's what that happened.
Thank you for tuning into this episode of the Jet Press Podcast. Which, woo baby, this was a bad one. This might be. In the years that we've been doing this may be the worst complete performance I think we've seen in totality.
Nah, they've had worse. Who are we kidding?
Since 2023?
Probably. They all blend together. They all blend together, man. I don't remember. I saw so much Zach Wilson play like football.
But I mean, everybody.
It was bad. I'm not trying to understand this. This was terrible.
Hopefully, there's a God above. Hopefully. This is the worst part of the Aaron Glenn era, and he learns from this.
We could hope.
Corrects himself.
We could hope, buddy. Thanks again to Austrian Jets fan, by the way. Donated 10 memberships earlier. Much appreciated, friend. Always appreciated.
So thank you for tuning in. Justin, feel free to sign us off.
We'll be back Wednesday talking, whatever we can about this Jets team, trying to give, I guess, a little bit more in-depth analysis when our emotions calm down. But this was a tough one. Thank you all for joining us on the show today. Go follow Mike on Twitter at @ByMikeLuciano. Follow me on Twitter, Justin T. Fried. Follow Jet Press at the Jet Press. Download the Jet Press podcast where you get your podcast. Check us out on YouTube and TikTok. We just passed 900 subscribers or followers, whatever they call them on that app. Also, Patrick Mahomes just rushed for a touchdown, so shout out my fantasy team.
Nix has thrown 3 touchdowns, and I am the Colts defense, so that's not good.
Sorry. I got I really quick. I have the Cardinals defense and Malik Neighbors in fantasy, and within a span of about 10 seconds, the Cardinals defense got a scoop and score touchdown, and Malik Neighbors had that like 50-yard bomb.
My first 2 receiver picks were AJ Brown and Terry McLaurin.
Yikes, man. That's brutal.
AJ Brown one catch in this game.
Subscribe, like, hit the notification bell. You guys know what to do. You can also become a member today. It is 99 cents, and it's a great way to get your comments, prioritize in chat, and just help support the show as I smack my mic. We stream live every Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern Time and live immediately following every single Jets game. Thank you all for listening to Jet Press Podcast today. I've been Justin Fried. That is Mike Luciano. Thank you all for joining us and making this terrible game at least a little bit less terrible. We'll see you guys next time.
Hopefully, this is as bad as it gets. And I don't want to put that out in the universe, but I don't want to jinx it, but
let's hope.
Boy, was this a rough one.